So I was just sent this article right here, and this is definitely, most definitely a Strag Tales qualifier for two reasons. And two reasons I'm going to go into in this video. So in this picture, you see a woman by the name of Alexandra Smoots-Thomas. And if you can see right there on the left, she's wearing a, a judge's robe. You know, she's all made up and everything, makeup and from head to toe. Or head to chest in this picture, if you get what I mean. But yes, she was a former judge. And believe it or not, the woman on the right is also the same woman. What a transition. It almost doesn't look like the same person, but it is indeed the same person. So you're probably wondering, why has she gone from the courthouse to the big house? Well, it's two reasons. The first one is because recently it just came out that this woman has been accused of shooting at her husband's girlfriend. So apparently her husband had a woman on the side, and she's been accused of shooting at this woman, and they have already brought up charges against her. But also last year, and I think this is what actually got her removed from the bench, is she was involved with, let's just say she was fumbling with other people's monies, financials, for her own personal gain. Now, if you remember, I recently did a Strag Tales about another woman in another state who was basically spending people's funds for her own personal gain. One of them being in financing her wedding and then financing her divorce. I still can't get over that one. I remember a couple years ago when I think it was in Texas, a bunch of black women were appointed to judge positions in Texas. And everybody was jumping for joy and saying, black girl magic and, the usual spill. And a lot of us did not jump for joy. And people was saying that, oh, you're anti-black woman, you're bad. The usual talking point. It wasn't that we were anti anything. It's the fact that we said we're going to wait and see what they do before we jump for joy for any of them, because many have been known to have very off-code nature. Look at many of the people I call sister girl, or I put them in the sister girl category, like Keisha Lance Bottom. She may not be a judge, but she holds a political position, being a mayor. Look at Kamala Harris. My goodness, that's a prime example right there. Look at the woman who was the judge for Meek Mill and how she tried to railroad him. Look at the one that I just talked about and the one I'm about to talk about. I'm not saying that all of them are shady, but I'm noticing a pattern. That's why many of us then jump for joy when they got those positions. Congratulations, but that's about as much as you're going to get out. Let's see what you're going to do. But see, this woman was still in money, and she was a judge. And I know judges get a fairly good salary. They're like the highest paid people in that court. But that wasn't enough for her. So she stole other people's money and used it for her own personal gain. And now she's out here shooting at side pieces. And she lands herself in jail. A Harris County, and by the way, this came out of Texas. This story I'm talking about came out of Houston, Texas. And I just said those black women who all got appointed to judge positions were in Texas. I wonder if she was one of them. A Harris County civil judge who is currently suspended is accused of shooting at her husband's girlfriend during an argument. Judge Alexandra Smoots-Thomas, who served on the bench of the 164th District Court for 10 years before her suspension last year, has been charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Houston police said the incident happened at the victim's home in the 14,000 block of Jewel Meadow Drive on Monday. Investigators and Smoots-Thomas was in the woman's driveway honking and causing a disturbance. When the woman came out of the home, she and Smoots-Thomas got into an argument, according to police. That's when Smoots-Thomas allegedly fired a gun at the woman. Her attorney, Kent Schaefer, told ABC 13 the woman involved in the incident is the girlfriend of Smoots-Thomas' husband. Schaefer said Smoots-Thomas was arrested Wednesday morning and she's being held on a $10,000 bond. Smoots-Thomas is currently suspended after being charged last year with using campaign funds on jewelry, luxury items, her mortgage, and more. She even announced she was still running for re-election in 2020. Now, this almost sounds familiar, like a triple P I just did on that Clay County sheriff down in Florida when all that stuff came out about him and saying he was still going to run for re-election. I'm trying to figure out how they're possibly going to do that, but okay, keep hope alive. She was charged with 10 counts of wire fraud, with prosecutors alleging she diverted campaign funds for non-campaign expenses, and she pled not guilty. Prosecutors claim she used $25,000 in campaign funds to pay for items like a luxury handbag, a $700 ring, her children's school tuition, and her mortgage. Smoots-Thomas was indicted last year by a grand jury. At the time, Schaefer said the investigation began when FBI agents informed her that an anonymous complaint of bribery had been brought to their attention. Now, see, this is a woman that right here that does not deserve to be a judge. I would like to see the kind of cases that she presided over just on her track record alone. Because if she can do that, like steal campaign funds that's supposed to be going towards her campaign, who knows what kind of sentences she passed down in her courtroom. And then she has the nerve to say she's going to still run for re-election, even though now she came up to this woman's spot and got into an altercation with her and shot at her. Now, many people will overlook the fact that this woman went to the mistress's property. It's not like the mistress was in this woman's home, or the side piece was in this woman's home or in her vicinity. She went over to her house and confronted her. At that point, she's trespassing. No matter how you feel about your husband cheating on you with this woman, you still took it upon yourself to go over there with your gun, which means now they're going to believe you had the intent to go over there to do harm to this woman. Luckily, she appears to be a weak shot, and she didn't shoot this woman even to injure her. It's crazy. The law that she passes down in her courtroom, or was supposed to be passing down in her courtroom, is now about to be passed down to her. It's amazing how circular these things are.